Hello everyone. How are y'all doing today? I hope you're doing pretty good. Hope you're having a good day. Anyway, I am out here once again on the road, out telling stories. And you ever see that TV show Quantum Leap? Dr. Sam Beckett leaping through time, setting things right. Well, we're not going to be doing things quite that epic, changing the course of history, but we will make the needle move a little bit today, that's for sure. Now, I have three very interesting people here that I want you guys to meet today. Now, the first one, I'm just going to, right here, we're visiting, this right here is someone with a very special connection to my family and me. A while back, I came here to take pictures of the grave of my Aunt Fanny Blair for Find a Grave. This is her grave right here, 1934 to 2005. Now, my Aunt Fanny Blair, I'll just be honest, she was the coolest aunt that any kid could wish for. She was married to my uncle, and they had several kids together. You know, they had a bunch of little boys and a little girl, and every kid for miles loved Aunt Fanny. She would make these great big old pots of what she called goulash. It was like hamburger noodles, tomato sauce, you know, that kind of thing. And every kid for miles would always be at Aunt Fanny's house. And if you were 10 years old, brother, this was the place to be. I can remember when I was very little, first grade, something like that. She showed up at my school on my birthday and took me out of school and had a surprise birthday party for us because her son, Gene, my cousin, we were both born on February the 28th. So she would always do these elaborate, birthday parties for us when we were little kids. Of course, after that first year, it wasn't exactly a surprise anymore that Aunt Fanny was going to come and get you, if you were in school that day. She was probably going to come and get you for the birthday party. But when I was really little, I can remember, toddler size, little. Aunt Fanny wrestle with us kids in the floor and carry on, and you know what I mean. She was just a lot of fun. She'd let you win, too. She'd let all us kids win. She was really cool. Everybody loved Fanny. We'll just put it that way. But anyway, her grave, it sits here on this embankment, and, few people ever make the climbs to take pictures of those graves. When I reached her grave, I was surprised to discover that two of her brothers, right here, were buried with her. One of them was Staff Sergeant Melvin Dye. Now, I'll show you him real quick. SSG, U.S. Army, Vietnam, Melvin Dye. Now, remember I told you we won't be changing history to the point where the country's historical trajectory changes, but we will move the needle a little bit. This is the one. I'll get back to that in just a second. The other was right here. This is First Sergeant George Easley Dye, who was killed in a car accident while serving at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. George was only 23 years old at the time of his death. Tragically, Melvin would also lose his life while serving our country at just 23 years old. Let me get over here. I'll just get over here by Melvin's grave. There's some stuff I want to sit down. I want to concentrate. If you've watched the channel for a while, you may remember my crazy cousin Melvin. Now, this right here is the man that Melvin was named after. It's his uncle. What surprised us even more is that for years, Melvin Dye here has been listed as being buried at Arlington National Cemetery. While he does have a memorial there, we discovered He also has his real grave marker here beside his brother and his sister with his family, which is something that we did not expect to find. Now, Melvin was born in West Virginia to Genoa Caudle Dye and Fanny Frances Veers Fry, which is where Aunt Fanny got her name, before moving to Carlton, Michigan as a teenager to live with his sister Betty. He graduated from Airport High School in 1966, got a job in a factory, and was later drafted into the United States Army. On March 23rd of 1967, he was shipped off to Vietnam. By February of 1968, Staff Sergeant Dye was just days away from completing his 13-month tour of duty. He was serving as the crew chief aboard a UH-1H Huey helicopter with the 57th Assault Helicopter Company. Instead of simply sit tight and wait to go home, he volunteered for one more dangerous rescue mission. It was an emergency helicopter extraction deep inside neighboring Laos, just a few miles from the South Vietnamese border. On February 19th, 1968, his crew was sent on a highly classified mission into Laos to extract a Special Forces reconnaissance team that had become surrounded by enemy forces. At the time, the United States was conducting highly secret operations into Laos, and the risks of getting caught, of being seen, were, aside from the guns, it was extremely dangerous mission. On February 19th, 1968, the helicopter carrying Melvin and the rest of the crew was shot down. After successfully rescuing the reconnaissance team, the helicopter came under an intense burst of enemy small arms fire as it left the landing zone area. The aircraft crashed and burst into flames. Fellow soldiers desperately tried to rescue the people trapped inside, but the fire became so intense that exploding ammunition and enemy fire made it impossible to reach anyone. The Huey crashed into the jungle and caught fire with everyone and everything on board, is basically what happened. Because of the intense heat from the burning wreckage and enemy activity in the area, recovery teams were unable to recover the crew. Searchers found no trace of 3 missing Americans at the crash site or in the surrounding jungle. For more than 4 decades, Melvin C. Dye here was officially listed as missing in action, MIA. Like many families of those listed as MIA during the Vietnam War, his loved ones never completely gave up hope. Some believed he might have survived and was being held somewhere in Southeast Asia. Melvin's remains would not be identified for more than 40 years. Investigators eventually relocated the crash site, recovered human remains and evidence, and using modern DNA testing, finally confirmed his identity, bringing decades of uncertainty to an end for his family. Years later, a recovery team returned to the crash site in Laos. They recovered bone fragments and teeth that were sent to the Defense Department's National Laboratory in Hawaii, where scientists specialize in identifying the remains of America's missing service members. DNA samples provided by Melvin's family confirmed what they had searched more than 40 years to learn. The remains belonged to Staff Sergeant Melvin Dye here. The identification finally gave his family the answers that they had waited 4 decades for, and brought an end to one of the heartbreaking missing in action stories from the Vietnam War era. Standing here today beside Melvin's grave, his story does feel much more real. You can sort of identify with him because you're standing here, sitting here beside him, watching as his story comes to its conclusion. The ending of his story is quite frankly right in front of you. Now, I came here expecting to simply take a picture of my Aunt Fanny's grave, but instead found 2 of her also amazing brothers buried beside her, including Melvin. Both of them died while serving our country, with one dying a certified real-life war hero. After his family spent more than 40 years not knowing what happened, to him it's hard to imagine how they felt, finally having all of those answers and finally knowing how Melvin really died. I'm glad that we were able to stop here today, remember his sacrifice, and share his story with all of you. And for Melvin, I wish you nothing but to rest in peace and to thank you for your service. Now, there is something else. Like I said, remember I told you that the history books won't move big, but we will twitch the needle just a little bit. Melvin's missing. Like I said, he's in Arlington, right? Now, I went down to the place that owns this, to the office here for Mountain View Memory Gardens. I went down to the office this morning, and just to verify, double check, it had been a little while since I've been up here, get the map. They did not have Melvin Dye listed as being in this cemetery at all. Now, they had Aunt Fanny. Let me go over here. They had Aunt Fanny listed. They had George listed, right? The problem is, now this is what I think happened. I could be wrong, but now this is what I think happened. Melvin, how do you put this delicately? Melvin was in a jungle for 4 decades. There was not a whole lot left to identify. If you were to pass away in, say, a desert under the proper conditions, salt, for example, it would preserve the remains. Melvin was in an active jungle, right? He was in an active jungle, and so there's not going to be a whole lot left. When they brought back whatever they brought back fragments, not an entire body. They brought back pieces. So when I was speaking to the people at the funeral place this morning, at the owners, Mountain View Memory Gardens, the owners of the place, they do not have Melvin listed here at all. And she explained that there is a possibility that he could just have the memorial up here, but we do not have a listing for him being here at all. She said, if you get up there and it turns out that you are right, that your memory, she didn't say all that, but you know what I mean. If you get up there and it turns out that you're remembering this right, and Melvin Dye does in fact have a memorial up there, please let us know. We do not have him on record. We will make a note and get that corrected. Now, to me, this is someone who literally died for the country, right? This is a rescue mission. This is real life, true blue, straight up hero, war hero. If you can't correct something like this, then what are we doing? I'm guessing most of you probably agree, or you probably wouldn't be watching our channel. But anyway, like I said, very humbling story, isn't it? 40 years the family waited. I can remember my Aunt Fanny when she bought presumably this one. I highly doubt she bought the one in Arlington, but my presumption here, now, you know, maybe this is someone better qualified to answer this. My presumption is that whatever remains were found in that jungle are interred here with the family, and the one in Arlington is a memorial, or the other option, some of the remains are here and some are in Arlington. But either way, this is not listed. This is unknown. This is his resting place. Melvin C. Dye's resting place has slipped through the cracks. Whether it's either here or Arlington, his final resting place will be secured, and his memorial will be complete, and the records, just as soon as I get out of here and talk to these people, his official records will be corrected to reflect where he actually is, to show his marker. Like I said, it's not earth-shattering, but if you can't do something for a veteran who gave his life for the country, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, guys, we'll see y'all on the next episode, next adventure, and until then, Leo out. Well, not quite Leo out after all. I went down to get the guys to show them where it's at and show them which one. Well, it looks like Melvin will finally get the memorial. The listing and the memorial. Where is he? Lose your place. Yeah, it is, ain't it? Here it is. Walked right by it. That's him. Melvin C. Dye. War hero, even.
Yeah, 30 years old.
23 when he died. His brother over here, same thing. That's my aunt there. But anyway, guys, thank y'all very much. I appreciate that.
No problem, buddy.
Y'all need me to take a picture for him, or y'all?
Oh, I'll go. We can get it.
Okay, okay. Alrighty, thank y'all much, guys.
No problem.
Y'all do a really good job here, and down there too, by the way. Y'all do a really good job. It's got to be hot and hard, and you know what I mean?
It is.
But y'all do a really good job taking care of these places. But anyway, guys, thank y'all very much. I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a good day.
You too, buddy.
Didn't you say which one of you was watching the Hillbilly Files?
Yeah. My parents love it too.
Do they?
They watch it all the time.
Well, tell them Leo says hi.
I will. Sure will.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
See you, buddy.
See you, Melvin. A pleasure to meet you, my friend. See you, Aunt Fanny. Love you. Okay. Now, Leo out. That is so cool. Marking him as an unknown so that all the records can be updated and show Melvin's final resting place. Now that is cool. You can use your YouTube platform for a lot of things. You can sell toys, you can sell lipstick, you can do a whole lot of things. Honoring a legitimate war hero, in my opinion, ranks up in the top 10 uses.
Leo's climbing ridges where the eagles fly, searching every mountain, reaching for the sky. Heather's piecing together every clue they find, bringing yesterday